Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. As we are aware of, in the market mechanics, otherwise known as the liquidity providers concept, we focus on the liquidity and trap zones, which are zones that offer the best opportunities to either make a decision to buy or sell in the forex market. This strategy can be used on any financial instrument. It can be used in the stock market, cryptocurrency, foreign exchange market, commodities, or any financial instrument that involves a price chart. There are three types of analysis. We have the fundamental analysis, technical analysis, and sentimental analysis. The fundamental analysis takes into considerations events, news, geopolitical events, and other factors that shapes the market overall. These events they influence the technicals, as technical analysis can be defined as the study of trends and turning points in the market, while sentimental analysis can be defined as the study of the overall market as the study of the overall perception of the general market participants. So these three analyses they work hand in hand, and here in the daily market overview we take these three analyses into consideration. So fundamentally, today is a Tuesday and it is a day of distribution. It is a very good day to trade as there are so many opportunities on this day, and the market participants are usually optimistic on days like this. So we have a good flow in the market. So now let us take less than a minute to explain candlesticks. As you can see, price consolidating within a range here and forming cluster of white candles. These white candles signify selling pressure. On the other hand, as you can see, price rallying up, creating a series of lower highs and higher highs, and a cluster of green candles. These green candles signify buying pressure. Meanwhile, a candle that is neither green nor white, like this candle here, it signifies indecision in the market. So now let us get straight to business. On Euro USD, at the opening of the Asian session, we can see sellers trying to create fear and panic. However, they failed to break the low of yesterday. And the second half, we can see buyers manipulating sellers to take more position, grabbing liquidity and attempting to push price up. So here we expect price to move up to break the structure. Then we can conclude that the euro will strengthen against the US dollar. Now on USDcad, at the opening of the Asian session, we can see buyers being optimistic. However, they failed to break the high of yesterday, and the second half we can see sellers creating fear and panic, pushing price down. Let us keep two concepts in mind: that price sells to buy and price buys to sell. Why does price do this? Price does this because forex trading is a zero-sum game. So for buyers to make money, there has to be equal number of sellers on the other side, so the buyers can take money away from them. Likewise, for sellers to make money, there has to be equal amount of buyers on the other side, so sellers can take money away from them. So for the market to do this, it moves in tandem with liquidity, as this creates equilibrium in the market. So as you can see, sellers in the second half right here, so at the opening of the London session, if this pair is going to buy, the buyers are going to manipulate price down for more sellers, then generate liquidity to the upside to break this structure up. And it has to be done with one or two candles. So when this happens, we can see the psychology behind this, that the buyers are taking over as the sellers are creating panic here. So if there will be a buy trend to occur here, the buyers will break price down to induce more sellers to take position, deceive them and take money away from the sellers, giving them a hot chase for their money. Now on USD CNH, at the opening of the Asian session, we can see buyers optimistic, however they failed to break the high of yesterday, and the second half we can see sellers in this zone, however they failed to break the low of yesterday, not making a strong move, and the second half. And by the opening of the London session, we can expect a sell to buy, so we can expect buyers to manipulate price to the downside to induce more sellers, rally price up, break this structure up, and for the US dollar to strengthen against CNH if a buy is going to happen. On GJ, at the opening of the Asian session, we can see buyers optimistic, however they failed to break the high of yesterday, and second half we can see sellers within this zone, and following from this we expect a sell to buy. However, if a sell to buy will occur, we can expect the buyers to push price down, break the low of yesterday, break the low of the day to induce more sellers, then jump price up with one or two candles. However, that is not so much likely to happen, but in the forex market anything can happen. Nevertheless, if price consolidates and comes down to this zone, there is no strong resistance here, so the low of yesterday could be broken. On silver, at the opening of the Asian session, we can see a buy to sell in anticipation, as there are sellers right here. However, they failed to break the low of yesterday, and second half we can see buyers pushing price down, breaking the low of the first half, inducing more sellers and consolidating price to a range. So by the opening of the London session, we can expect a buy candle that breaks the high of the day, pushes price up, and for silver to jump higher. Now on gold, at the opening of the Asian session, the first half, we can see buyers not making much of a move, as this is an indecision candle, and the second half we can see buyers creating momentum, jumping price up. However, we expect a buy to sell from this, so we expect sellers to break the high of the day, that is the high of the first half and the second half, and induce more buyers, grab liquidity, push price down, break this structure for us to decide that gold is going to go down. On NZD USD, there is no strong support within this area, as price just opens with buyers pushing price up, and second half you can see buyers pushing price up more, so there is no pattern in place. However, in anticipation we can expect a buy to sell, so we expect sellers to grab liquidity, induce more buyers, push price down and break the structure further down. On DXY, at the opening of the Asian session, we can see buyers optimistic, however they failed to break the high of yesterday, and the second half we can see sellers pushing price up, inducing more buyers and pushing price down. So this is a classic AMD here. We have the accumulation, we have the manipulation to the upside, and we can see the distribution in inside. So by the opening of the London session, we can expect this to come down and break further down. So this highlights that a lot of US dollar pairs are going to be weak, as the DXY determines the direction of the dollar pairs. On GBP USD, at the opening of the Asian session, we can see sellers right here expecting a sell to buy. However, there is no liquidity structure here, as buyers just push up, not manipulating sellers to take position. Following from this, if later during the day price comes down, we can expect the low of the day to be broken, and we are expecting a buy to sell, as this is a buy candle, so we expect sellers to manipulate more buyers to the upside for price to rally down. And mind you, the pattern mustn't be more than one or two candles to qualify as a strong and good pattern. On BTC USD, at the opening of the Asian session, we can see an indecision candle here, with investors not making up their mind for which direction to push price to, and second half we can see buyers optimistic pushing price up. However, they failed to break the high of yesterday, so by the London session we expect a buy to sell. We expect sellers to manipulate more buy orders to the upside, distribute down, break the structure down, break the low of yesterday, and for BTC USD to ride further down. On AUD USD, we have a similar pattern to NZD USD, as these are correlation pairs. At the opening, we can see buyers creating a range, and the second half, we can see buyers pushing price further up. However, this is an impulsive move from buyers, but in the market, anything can happen, so the sellers can manipulate more buy orders to the upside, push price down, and break the structure further down. However, if that doesn't happen and price consolidates and comes to the low of the day, we can expect the low of the day to be broken, as there is no strong support within this range, which is the low of the day. AUD/JPY, we can see a similar pattern to AUD/USD, as these are correlation pairs. At the opening of the Asian session, we can see buyers pushing price up optimistic, and the second half, we can see buyers pushing price further up, breaking the high of yesterday. Following from this, we can expect a buy to sell. We can expect manipulation of more buy orders to the upside, and the sellers to push price down, break the low of today, break the low of yesterday. Then we can conclude that the AUD will weaken against the Japanese yen. However, if that doesn't happen and there is a consolidation and price retest the low of the day, we can expect the low of the day to be broken, as there is no strong support around the low of the day. So it is important to identify strong support and strong resistance, as these are areas that are likely going to hold price, or areas that are likely going to allow price push through. So recognizing a strong support and recognizing a strong resistance is important, as well as recognizing a false support and a false resistance. Plan your trade, trade your plan, and most importantly, manage your risk. I wish you a peaceful day ahead.